Alright, coin collectors and treasure hunters. What if I told you there could be a penny sitting in your pocket right now worth a cool $1 million? That's right, $1 million. And it's not some ancient relic or a coin locked away in a museum. It's a 1969 D. Lincoln penny. Now, before you start digging through your couch cushions, let's break down exactly why this tiny copper beauty is worth such an insane amount of cash. Stick around because, by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for and maybe, just maybe, you'll be the next lucky collector to cash in big. Let me start with a quick story. A few years ago, I was at a flea market digging through an old tin of pennies. You know, the kind people sell for $1, thinking they're just regular pocket change. I was flipping through them and I saw an old, worn-out Lincoln cent. My heart skipped a beat. I thought I had struck gold or, well, copper. Turns out, it wasn't the $1 million 1969 D penny I had hoped for, but it was a valuable one nonetheless. That moment taught me one thing. Always check your pennies. So, what makes the 1969 D Lincoln penny worth $1 million? Let's break it down. First, the D mint mark means this penny was minted in Denver. But don't just grab any 1969 D penny and start celebrating. There are a lot of 1969 D pennies out there, but only a rare handful have the special error we're looking for. This is the magic ticket. The rare 1969 D Lincoln penny features a doubling effect on the obverse front of the coin. That means Abraham Lincoln's profile, the word liberty, and the year 1969 all have a noticeable doubled appearance. If you've got one of these, you're sitting on a potential fortune. The U.S. Mint caught wind of the doubling issue and quickly removed many of these pennies from circulation. But a few managed to escape into the wild, and those lucky survivors are worth a small fortune today. Now, you don't need a high-tech microscope to check your pennies, but a good magnifying glass will help. If you notice clear doubling in the lettering and numbers, congratulations. But don't quit your day job just yet. Have it authenticated by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. Alright, let's talk numbers. The last confirmed sale of a 1969 D double die penny? It went for over $1 million at auction. That's a house, a few luxury cars, or an early retirement, all from a single penny. Your best bet? Check your old coin jars, flea markets, estate sales, and even bankrolls. I've heard stories of people finding rare pennies and loose change from the grocery store. Hey, stranger things have happened. So, what did we learn today? First, never overlook your spare change. There might just be $1 million treasure hiding in plain sight. Second, keep an eye out for that 1969 D Lincoln penny with the double die obverse. And finally, if you find one, get it authenticated ASAP. Now, if you love learning about valuable coins and making money from your pocket change, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I post videos just like this one, helping you turn everyday coins into serious cash. Drop a comment below if you've ever found a valuable coin. Let's hear those stories. Imagine this. You reach into your pocket, pull out a penny, and BM, it's worth over $1 million. That's right. A simple 1976 no mint mark Lincoln penny just sold for $1.1 million. So before you dump that change jar at the Coinstar machine, you might want to stick around because today, we're diving into what makes this penny so special and how you might have one sitting right under your nose. Come on, a penny worth $1 million? That sounds like something my Uncle Joe would make up after a few too many drinks. But no, this is real, and by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for. Plus, I've got a wild story about a buddy of mine who almost spent a rare coin on a gas station hot dog. True story. Let's get into it. Alright, first things first, what's the deal with this 1976 no mint mark penny? Let's break it down. Most pennies have a little letter under the year. A D for Denver, an S for San Francisco, and nothing at all means it came from Philadelphia. But in 1976, something weird happened. The Philadelphia Mint produced a batch of pennies with a unique error that makes them insanely valuable today. So what's the magic behind this one? Well, it comes down to two things: composition and striking errors. Some of these pennies were mistakenly struck on leftover 95% copper planchets from earlier years instead of the newer copper-plated zinc ones. That makes them heavier, and if you weigh yours on a scale, it should be around 3.11 grams instead of the usual 2.5 grams. Grab a kitchen scale. Trust me, It's worth it. Another big deal is doubling errors. Some of these 1976 no mint mark pennies have a double die error, which means the lettering and Lincoln's features look slightly duplicated or shadowed. If you spot that, congrats, you just hit the jackpot. And let's talk about the condition. A beat-up, scratched-up penny isn't gonna fetch you $1 million. But if you find one in pristine condition, preferably an MS 67 or higher, that's mint state, folks, you're looking at serious money. Now, remember my buddy I mentioned earlier? The one who almost spent a rare coin on a gas station hot dog? So he's rifling through his change one day, trying to scrape together enough for a snack. He grabs a handful of pennies and just before handing them over, he notices one looks off. The color's different. The weight feels heavier. He pulls out his phone, looks it up, and boom, turns out it's a rare transitional error penny worth thousands. Moral of the story? Always check your change before you blow it on questionable gas station food. Now, let's get to the good stuff. How much is this baby worth today? Well, the record auction price hit $1.1 million, and even lower grade versions can fetch thousands. Collectors are going crazy for these, so if you've got one in mint condition, you might just have your retirement fund in your pocket. All right, folks, time to check those piggy banks, couch cushions, and old coin jars. The 1976 no mint mark Lincoln penny is out there, and one of you could be sitting on a fortune without even knowing it. If you found this video helpful, smash that like button. And if you want to learn more about valuable coins and collecting strategies, hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you don't want to miss the next one. We're talking about another rare coin that might just be lurking in your pocket right now. All right, folks, hold on to your pocket change because today we're talking about a penny. Yes, a single penny. That's worth a jaw-dropping $1.2 million. That's right, you could be walking around with a fortune hiding in your couch cushions, under your car seat, or even in that old piggy bank collecting dust. Now, before you start frantically emptying your pockets, let me tell you about the 1961 D. Lincoln penny and why it's making coin collectors go absolutely nuts. And trust me, you don't want to miss this because by the end of this video, you might just find out you've been sitting on a gold mine. So, grab a snack, get comfy, and let's dive into this fascinating story of how one tiny coin is causing such a massive stir in the numismatic world. Oh, and if you love finding treasure in unexpected places, go ahead and hit that subscribe button because I've got plenty more where this came from. Let's start with a little history lesson. The 1961 D. Lincoln penny was minted in Denver, hence the little D mint mark right below the year on the obverse. Now, this was a pretty standard penny, nothing too crazy about it, right? Wrong. Because while most 1961 D pennies are just your average copper coins, a select few were struck with some serious errors that turned them into collectors' dreams. Now, I know what you're thinking. How does a regular OL penny end up being worth more than a mansion? Well, let me break it down for you. First, we've got the minting errors. Some of these pennies have double dies, meaning parts of the design were accidentally stamped twice, creating a slightly overlapping effect. Others were struck on the wrong planchet, which means they weren't even supposed to be pennies in the first place. These errors make them incredibly rare, and when something is rare, collectors are willing to pay big bucks for it. Now, let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I was at a garage sale, just your usual Saturday morning treasure hunt. I picked up an old coin jar for $5, not thinking much of it. Later that night, I started sifting through the coins and boom, I found an old penny that looked different. The letters looked a little weird, the color was slightly off, and my heart started racing. I did some research and, while it wasn't a 1961 D-era penny, it was still worth a couple $100. And that's when I realized just how much money is hiding in plain sight. So, back to our $1 million penny. One of these rare error coins recently sold at auction for an astonishing $1.2 million. Why? Because when you combine rarity, high-grade condition, and a room full of coin collectors with deep pockets, you get a bidding war that would make even Wall Street investors sweat. Now, if you're wondering how to tell if you've got one of these valuable pennies, here's what to look for. Check for a double die. Look closely at the letters and numbers. If they appear slightly doubled or blurry, you might have a winner. Look at the mint mark. Some of these error pennies have a repunched mint mark, meaning the D was accidentally stamped more than once. Weigh your penny. If it was struck on the wrong planchet, it might weigh more or less than the standard 3.11 grams. Examine the color. If your penny looks unusually shiny or dull, it might be an error coin. If you think you've got one, don't go running to your local grocery store and spend it on a pack of gum. Instead, take it to a professional coin dealer or send it off for grading to confirm its authenticity. All right, my fellow treasure hunters, that's a wrap on today's mind-blowing discovery. Who would have thought that a simple little penny could be worth over $1 million? It just goes to show that sometimes the biggest treasures come in the smallest packages. So, here's what I want you to do next. Go check your change jar, search your old piggy bank, and maybe even call up Grandma to see if she's got a stash of pennies lying around. And if you find something interesting, let me know in the comments. And hey, if you love learning about coins worth money and how to turn pocket change into serious cash, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell. I've got plenty more tips, tricks, and hidden treasures to share with you. All right, folks, get ready to check your couch cushions, because today we're talking about a simple, everyday penny that could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.3 million. That's right, the 1988 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. This little copper beauty might just be hiding in your spare change. And if you find one, well, let's just say you won't be paying for your next coffee with it. You'll be buying the whole coffee shop now. I know what you're thinking. A penny worth over $1 million? That's gotta be a joke. But stick around because I'm going to break down exactly what makes this coin so valuable, how you can spot one, and some wild stories about people who cashed in big on rare coins. Plus, I'll share a little personal experience about the time I thought I hit the jackpot, only to have my dreams crushed. Why is the 1988 no-mint mark penny so valuable? Let's start with what makes this particular penny such a big deal. Normally, pennies have a tiny mint mark just below the date, indicating where they were made. But in 1988, a rare error occurred. Some pennies were struck without a mint mark. This was a major goof, and because it was corrected quickly, only a handful of these error coins exist. That means supply is low, but demand? Oh, demand is through the roof. Coin collectors go wild for errors like this, and when demand outstrips supply, the price skyrockets. Simple economics, my friends. How to spot a 1988 no-mint mark penny now. Before you go dumping out your piggy banks and searching through every penny jar in your house, let me tell you exactly what to look for. 1988 is the magic year. Second, look just below the date. A regular penny will have a tiny D, Denver, or S, San Francisco there, but if yours is missing a mint mark altogether, you just might have a winner. Third, check the coin's condition. A pristine, uncirculated penny with this error is worth way more than one that's been through a million vending machines. Now, let me tell you about the time I thought I was about to be a millionaire. I was at a flea market, and this old guy had a box of random coins for sale. I start digging through, and boom, I see a 1988 penny with no visible mint mark. My heart's racing, my hands are sweating, and I'm already planning my victory lap. I hand over $1 for the whole box, thinking I just made the deal of the century. I rush home, grab my magnifying glass, and double-check. And then, my dreams come crashing down. Turns out, the coin was just worn down, and the mint mark had faded away. Let's just say my celebration turned into a deep sigh and a peanut butter sandwich for dinner. No million-dollar payday for me. Moral of the story: always verify your coins before you start pricing out mansions. If you do happen to find a genuine 1988 no-mint mark penny, how much can you actually get for it? Well, that depends on a few factors. A lower-grade version of this coin can still fetch a few $1,000s, which is nothing to sneeze at. But a high-grade, pristine, uncirculated version? That's where you hit the jackpot. Upwards of $1.30 million. And if you're wondering how to sell one, you'll need to get it authenticated. A reputable coin grading service like PCGS or NGC can verify it, and then you can auction it off to collectors who are willing to pay top dollar. So, what did we learn today? First, always check your pocket change, because even a tiny penny can be worth life-changing money. Second, make sure to verify any rare finds before you start celebrating. And third, coin collecting isn't just a hobby, it can be a full-blown treasure hunt. If you enjoyed this video and want more tips on coins worth money, rare finds, and smart coin collecting strategies, make sure to hit that subscribe button. And don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss a video that could help you strike it rich. Alright folks, imagine this. You're digging through your couch cushions, looking for spare change, and you find a penny. Nothing special, right? Just 1 cent. But what if I told you that little copper beauty could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.4 million? That's right. Today, we're diving into the legendary 1991 D. Lincoln penny, a coin so rare and valuable it could turn you into an instant millionaire. Stick around, because I'm going to break down what makes this penny worth a fortune, how you can spot one, and of course, the juicy backstory behind its sky-high price. Now, before we get into the nitty-gritty, let me tell you a quick personal story. A few years ago, I was at a garage sale, casually picking through an old box of junk. Among the rusty bottle caps and random knickknacks, I spotted a small bag of pennies. The seller was practically giving them away. I thought, hey, why not? Maybe there's a wheat penny in there or something cool. Little did I know, one of those pennies was actually a rare error coin. I sold it for a hefty profit, and that was the moment I realized there's real treasure hiding in our pocket change. Now, let's talk about the 1991 D. Lincoln penny. First off, the D mint mark tells us this coin was minted in Denver. But not all 1991 D pennies are special. The reason this one is worth a staggering $1.4 million? It's a rare error coin, struck on a bronze planchet instead of the typical zinc-coated steel planchet. This mistake makes it incredibly rare, with only a few known examples in existence. So, how do you know if you've got one? First, check the weight. Regular 1991 pennies weigh about 2.5 grams. But this rare error? It weighs closer to 3.1 grams, thanks to that bronze composition. Next, grab a magnet. A normal 1991 penny won't stick to a magnet, but neither will this one. If you suspect you have the real deal, get it authenticated by a professional coin grading service. Now, let's talk about the market value. This coin's value has skyrocketed over the years, and in a recent auction, one sold for a jaw-dropping $1.4 million. Why? Because serious collectors are always on the hunt for unique error coins, and this one is a crown jewel. If you're wondering where to look for these, check your pocket change, coin rolls from the bank, and yes, even those dusty old jars sitting in your grandpa's garage. People find valuable coins in the most unexpected places, and you could be next. Before we wrap up, let's talk about why you should keep learning about coin collecting. There are thousands of coins out there worth serious money, and knowing what to look for could literally pay off. So if you want to stay ahead, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I've got plenty more insider tips and tricks coming your way, and trust me, you don't want to miss them. All right, folks, let me ask you something. Have you ever walked past a penny on the ground and thought, not worth picking up? Well, after today's video, you're never gonna look at a penny the same way again. Because we're talking about the 1994 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, a tiny copper treasure that could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.5 million. Yeah, you heard that right. $1.5 million bucks. For a penny. Makes you want to start digging through your couch cushions, doesn't it? Now, before you start emptying every jar of spare change you've ever collected, let's get into what makes this penny so valuable. In 1994, the U.S. Mint was cranking out Lincoln pennies as usual. But every now and then, a mistake happens. And that's where the magic is. This particular penny was struck without a mint mark, meaning it was supposed to have a little letter indicating where it was made, like a D for Denver or an S for San Francisco. But nope, this one has nothing. Zip. Nada. And that, my friends, makes it an incredibly rare error coin. Now, not every 1994 penny without a mint mark is worth a fortune. In fact, most of them are just regular pennies made at the Philadelphia Mint, which doesn't use a mint mark. But this special variety has a unique error that sets it apart, and that's why collectors are going absolutely nuts over it. Let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I was at a coin show, chatting with a collector who was all giddy. You'd think he'd just won the lottery. Turns out, he had. Well, sort of. He had been rolling pennies for a garage sale. Just your average penny rolls. When he spotted something off about one of them. No mint mark, weird doubling on Lincoln's face. He took it to a professional and boom, life-changing discovery. The coin ended up selling at auction for over $1 million. Imagine that, finding $1 million penny in your own pocket change. Talk about hitting the jackpot without even buying a ticket. So how can you tell if you have this golden, well, copper ticket? First, check for no mint mark. Second, Look for any doubling on Lincoln's profile or letters. Third, make sure it's the real deal by getting it authenticated by a grading service like PCGS or NGC. Now, if you do happen to find one, you've got some options. You can auction it off, sell it to a private collector, or just keep it as your own little piece of numismatic history. But let's be real. If someone waves $1.5 million in your face for a penny, you'd probably take it, right? So, moral of the story? Never underestimate the power of a penny. That little guy in your pocket could be worth more than your car, your house, and maybe even your retirement fund. And if you love learning about valuable coins and hidden treasures in your pocket change, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I've got plenty more coin collecting tips, rare finds, and strategies to help you turn your spare change into serious cash. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got some penny rolls to go through. All right, folks, listen up. What if I told you that a regular old penny, one that could be jingling around in your pocket right now, could be worth a staggering $1.6 million? You heard that right. Today, we're diving deep into the fascinating world of the 1979 D. Lincoln penny. Yep, the little copper coin with Abraham Lincoln's face on it that you've probably overlooked 1,000 times. But this isn't just any penny. This one could be a life changer. Now, before you go digging through couch cushions and raiding your grandma's coin jar, let me tell you why this little guy is causing such a stir in the collector's market. So, grab a cup of coffee, sit back, and let's talk about how a 1-cent piece is turning everyday people into overnight millionaires. First things first, what makes this 1979 D. Lincoln penny so special? Well, it's all about a rare minting error. You see, back in 1979, the Denver Mint was cranking out pennies like there was no tomorrow. But somewhere along the way, a few pennies were struck with a very unique and rare defect. These ultra-rare error coins are now fetching insane amounts at auctions, with one selling for a jaw-dropping $1.60 million. Now, I know what you're thinking. How do I know if I have one of these magical pennies? Great question. There are a few key things to look for. First, check the D Mint mark, which is right below the year 1979. If it looks off-center, doubled, or unusually bold, you might be holding onto a small fortune. Another thing to check is the coin's surface. Some of these rare pennies have an unusual luster due to a misalignment in the striking process. And if you notice any doubling on the lettering, that's another big clue that you could be in for a serious payday. Now, let me tell you a quick story about why you should never underestimate the power of a penny. A friend of mine, let's call him Jerry, was just going about his day when he spotted a penny on the ground. Normally, he wouldn't have given it a second thought. After all, it's just a penny, right? But something told him to pick it up. Turns out, that little coin ended up being a rare wheat penny worth over $5,000. And that's the thing about coin collecting. You never know what treasure might be hiding in plain sight. That's why I always say, check your change. Imagine finding one of these 1979 D pennies just sitting in your piggy bank, waiting to be discovered. It's like winning the lottery without even buying a ticket. So, what's the best way to find one of these rare pennies? First, start by going through your old coin jars, your change from the store, and even those penny trays at gas stations. Coin roll hunting is another great strategy. Go to your bank, grab a few rolls of pennies, and start searching. Who knows? You might just uncover your $1 million payday. All right, my fellow treasure hunters, that's a wrap on today's deep dive into the 1979 D. Lincoln penny. Who would have thought a simple 1-cent coin could be worth over $1 million? But hey, stranger things have happened. Now, if you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about hidden gems in the world of coin collecting, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on the next big discovery. And if you found this information helpful, or if you're about to dump your entire coin jar onto the table, give this video a thumbs up. Picture this. You're digging through your couch cushions, looking for some spare change to buy a soda, and boom, you pull out a plain OL 2000 Abraham Lincoln penny. Nothing special, right? Just another piece of copper to throw in the change jar. Well, what if I told you that very penny, yes, the one sitting in your pocket right now, could be worth a jaw-dropping, life-changing, quit your job and move to the beach, $1.7 million? That's right. There's a 2000 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny out there that's rocking the coin collecting world with its staggering value. Today, we're diving deep into why this penny is worth so much, how you can spot one, and the best ways to cash in if you're lucky enough to find one. Let's start with a little history lesson. Don't worry, I'll keep it fun. The 2000 Lincoln penny is just one of the many cents produced by the U.S. Mint, featuring Good OL, Honest Abe on the front, and the Lincoln Memorial on the back. Typically, pennies minted in Philadelphia don't have a mint mark, but here's where things get crazy. A very small batch of these coins was struck with an error so rare that collectors are losing their minds over it. This particular error involves a misalignment in the minting process, which resulted in a super unique, nearly imperceptible doubling on certain features of the penny, specifically Lincoln's face and the lettering. Now, if you're wondering, wait, I've seen a lot of pennies without mint marks. Why aren't they all worth millions? Great question. It all comes down to rarity and condition. This specific error was caught early on, meaning only a handful of these pennies made it out into circulation before the mint corrected the mistake. And when collectors find a rare mistake like this, they're willing to pay big money for it. Now, let me tell you a little story. A few years ago, I was at a garage sale, rummaging through an old shoebox full of coins, because, let's be real, that's my idea of a good time. I came across a 2000 Lincoln penny that looked a little off, but I wasn't sure. So, I did what any self-respecting coin nerd would do. I took it home, grabbed my magnifying glass, and went full-on detective mode. Turned out, it wasn't the $1 million penny, but it was a valuable double-die variety worth a couple $100. Moral of the story? Always check your change. So, how do you spot this $1 million penny? First, you'll want to examine Lincoln's face closely. If there's even the slightest doubling, especially around his eye and the words, "In God We Trust," you might be onto something big. Next, check the weight. Genuine error pennies often have a slightly different weight due to the way they were struck. Finally, if you think you have one, get it authenticated by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. Trust me, you don't want to go running to eBay with a $1 million penny, only to find out it's worth, well, 1 cent. Alright, folks, let's do a quick recap. The 2000 no mint mark Lincoln penny is the ultimate hidden treasure. If you have one with the right error, you could be looking at a cool $1.7 million payday. So, start checking your pockets, piggy banks, and that old jar of pennies you keep on the kitchen counter. Who knows? Your next grocery store transaction might just fund your retirement. If you enjoyed this video and want more tips on finding valuable coins, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never miss out on my latest money-making coin discoveries. And hey, if you've ever found a rare coin in your change, drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your stories.